Okay. What's going on, world? Miles, you gotta mute your mic. What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James underscore 36. And this is Big Games BS brought to you by thehumidor.com. Thehumidor.com is a go-to website for all things tobacco related. Um, I'm in and ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. ABC Fine Wine and Spirits is sponsoring this trip here for me to Naples, Florida. That's where I'm at right now in the hotel, living the sweet life. Here for taking bowls, lacrosse to the state championship, hopefully, um, and just trying to work on the road. Very difficult, especially linking schedules. So bear with us on some of the different things we got going on. What's up? What's up, Tupac NP? And Charles Walker. Appreciate y'all being here. Let's get some people here. We are, for housekeeping purposes, we are 1953. We are really, really close to being at that 2000. Need you guys to get to that. Much up. Oh, I want to say this. I think it was Brian. It was you. Shout out to Brian. We didn't properly give props to the person who gifted memberships, but Brian gifted. I think it was 5 memberships. It doesn't tell us on the StreamYard, but it will tell us on the YouTube. So appreciate that. If we had the 2000, I would be giving away $200 today, but we don't. So yeah. So need a couple of y'all other guys to consider that 399 membership. Appreciate that. But if y'all could tell some people to come and join and get us close to the 2000, that'd be great. We'll still get up and do a show tomorrow. Everything is completely dictated by if we win. So like we played today at 5 o'clock. So you could check. You'll see if we by 7 o'clock if we won the first round, and then I'll be here till Saturday, and it will be recording on Friday, Friday morning. So that's that's the housekeeping. So I need y'all to join that. A lot of conversations have been had, and one of the best things that I like is when people flesh things out. And one of the better things that's happened, and you guys will get a chance to see it live, but it will probably go away eventually because Uncle Shay Shay and them like don't like to give people credit. Like they want to make sure they get their money. But a lot was said in terms of HBCU guys being drafted and not being drafted. And Deion Sanders came out, and we talked about this a little bit on Monday's show. But Deion came out and talked about how it was wrong. Well, Uncle Shannon Sharp had some really interesting retorts. There's been a lot of interesting retorts. I even saw one from Jason Fatlock, but I can't post it because I don't like Jason. But let's hear what Uncle Shay Shay had to say. What happens, and we'll see this later on as I talk about another subject, is when you pit certain things. There's only one way to combat an argument is with facts. And what happens is when you start laying out the truth, it looks like you're hating or you're tearing down someone, and that's not necessarily the case. So Let's Shannon Sharp talk brought up a solid point. Who are the guys that should have been drafted? And I'll just, so we got Isaiah Bolden, and he was drafted. He was also went to a PWI at one point. He was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school. Makes a little bit of a sense. Didn't really perform very well. Deion saying he should have been drafted higher based on what film? Isaiah Land, a former defensive player of the year in all FCS. Xavier Smith, but this is just me not going in depth. Nothing against these guys. I actually like what happened to Isaiah Land. He's going to the Cowboys, and depending upon his contract situation, that's going to determine if he makes the roster. And then you get a chance. And Xavier Smith, I saw his contract he got a $5,000 signing bonus. That's not a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not looking good for him based on the terms of the contract. But Isaiah went to the NFL Combine. Isaiah Lamb is considered an edge rusher. So basically, he's a defensive end. He's 6'3 and a half, 236 pounds. Not sure if you realize this. Very few defensive ends in today's NFL meet those numbers. They have his production score as a 57, ranked 28th. His athleticism score, 65%, ranked 27th among edge players. His total score is a 61, ranked 30th amongst edge players. That's not good. He runs a 4.62, so he doesn't have elite speed to make up for the lack of size. A 1.65 in the 10-yard split. He does not have elite burst to make up for the lack of size. His vertical, 34 and a half, while good, isn't in the 40s. His broad jump, 10.6, very good. 7.2 3-cone drill, your change of direction is not elite. Your 20-yard shuttle, 4.56, isn't elite. Your bench press, 21 reps, is not elite. His draft projection at best was 6th to 7th round. So if you got people who fall, this is what happens. His weaknesses: lack of functional size to handle run blocking snaps as a pro. Must prove he can carry substantially more weight on his frame. Attempts to sit down and set the edge crumble. Too easily pushed off his grass or jolted off balance by first contact. Unable to generate push with his speed to power move. That's what a defensive end does. Like, that's basically their evaluation of him, is that he doesn't do defensive end very well. Probably should be a linebacker. But that's why you get a chance and they'll change it for you. Outside of that, I don't think he's a bad player. Xavier Smith, they have his draft projection, priority free agent. Weaknesses: has trouble tracking and adjusting on deep throws. Lacks the size and length to win contested catches. Focus drops could bother some teams. Route running is too reliant on speed over skill. Now, one could argue that these critiques are too harsh. But what I would also ask is, let's look at FAMU football schedule. Let's just look at the 2022. Who did they play? Now, what happens when you leave early to go to the NFL? Teams typically will take 4 of your best film against NFL caliber opponents. Let's see. Who did they play? They played North Carolina. Good game if you watched it. 56-24. Isaiah Land did not play in that game. The next week, against NFL caliber opponents, they played Jackson State. They lost 59-3. I can promise you there's not a lot of good clips on a 59-3 ass whooping. They played Albany State, a Division II program, 23-13. I'm not watching that. Alabama A&M, 38-25. I know Mississippi Valley State doesn't have any pro guys. Not since Jerry Rice, 34-7. Now, you can also go look at the schedules and like what these other teams finished. South Carolina State, 20-14. Grambling, 20-16. Florida, Arkansas Pine Bluff, 27-6. Southern, above 500 program. One of the few that I've mentioned, 30-16. Alabama State, 20-14. BCU, 41-20. Those are the scores. Southern finished 7-5. Prairie View. Did they play Prairie View? I forgot that quick. Nope. No Prairie View. So they played Southern. Grambling, who they barely beat, finished 3-8. Arkansas Pine Bluff, 3-8. Trying to remember what else I saw. No, they didn't play Alcorn. Alabama State, above 500, 6-5. Alabama A&M, 4-7. BCU, 2-9. Mississippi Valley State, 2-9. What are the 4 games? What are the 4 games that you're going to pull to ask someone to draft your guy? Now we're going to go. I'm going to go into 20. Let's see, they don't have all the 21. And even in the 2021, the game that a lot of scouts would have probably loved to see would have been when FAMU got a chance to get in the playoff. They got embarrassed. Now, Isaiah had 1 sack, but the reality is the performance doesn't match the energy in which everybody puts out. Now, Jim Trotter responded to this. Bison for Life can't wait for Jim Trotter to weigh in on the lack of HBCU players being drafted this cycle. There's a statistic thing that can always come up and will always show us. I personally, without the statistics, do not think it's an attack on HBCU ball. I personally just think we accept average for HBCU ball. FAMU has no business playing 7 games against teams below 500. They need to go play a SoCon team, a Patriot League team. You don't have to keep playing these ass whipping games against FBS schools. You could go across FCS. It took North Dakota State years of winning for people to recognize that there's some talent over there. You go beat North Dakota State, you probably get more people's attention. But I'll get into even more ways of how HBCUs can do a better job based upon what the white schools do that are getting black kids drafted. We can't pick and choose how we want to sprinkle the racism on them. Jim Trotter states, let's discuss only one player from an HBCU being drafted. As much as I would love to call it disrespect, fact is, based on convos with GMs, agents repping the HBCU players, NFL teams are not pulling from the small school level. And here is a thread. Only 10 players from the 125 FCS programs were drafted this year. Only 41 out of nearly 1,200 selections were from FCS schools over the past 4 years. I want to repeat this. Last year, 10 players from 125 FCS schools were drafted, one being from an HBCU. According to GMs, teams are going to send their scouts to top 5 schools during the year, multiple times. But if an FCS player isn't on the prospects list provided by the 2 primary scouting services, teams might not visit the school. It becomes more imperative that pro liaisons for the FCS schools to contact the scouting services to ensure their prospects are listed. I want to repeat that. Imperative pro liaisons from FCS schools contact the scouting services. There's this thing, and it happens with men and women all the time. Women get to have standards or preferences. Men don't. So what happens is there are standards that they look for in certain positions: height, weight, speed. If you don't have that in the FCS, GMs typically don't give you the look. It happens. It happens. And this is the scary part. And this has almost happened with Isaiah Land and FAMU's best player, defensive player, just hit the transfer portal. They now see FCS programs as feeder systems to use for the transfer portal, NIL money, and things of that. Hell, Dion just did that. He gutted Jackson State of their top draftable guys. Regardless, small school drafts are down. And that's the true reality. Now, that's how you get it better. It's a couple ways. I know a kid personally that entered the transfer portal as a quarterback. And he entered the transfer portal because he looked at where his school switched the conference, and the competition level was so low that he knew it would affect his draft status. What we have to do, and I say we because I've been in conversations. I'll go back and have some conversations with FAMU about NIL stuff, even though I know they're not going to act, but I have faith in us. They have to do a better job of scheduling and putting the guys in positions to showcase their ability. That's the first thing. Second, every school on the PWI level, most Power Fives, have a director of player personnel, and their job is to be the liaison to the scouting services in NFL. You've heard me talk numerous times about coming to Indianapolis. I saw Florida State reps in Indianapolis. I saw Michigan State reps. I saw a ton of reps. I did not see anybody from the HBCU level in Indianapolis in a situation where the entire environment is predicated on networking. You have to be the biggest proponent of your student athletes. You have to be the one that's pushing them forward. You have to be the one that is keeping them in other people's face. If you won't do it, why do you want others to do it? It's easy. It's going to take time, but you'll see more people doing that. You know what happens when teams want their player to win the Heisman Trophy? They create something called a Heisman Trophy campaign. I told FAMU to do that for Isaiah Land. They did. They have a journalism department. They have tons of very good guys that edit video. You see the club videos. Every week, the world should have known what Isaiah Land did the previous week. But you know what we did know about FAMU? We knew there was an academic problem. We knew about that. We knew about 20 kids being ineligible. But we did not know about what your best player did. Well, we knew he was ineligible. We knew that. The problem is what we cry about. We don't do enough to protect that. Oh man, I skipped. My bad, Miles. I skipped over all this big thing. But before I get into and what's listed right here is from Rattler Nation Blogspot. You know what FAMU is continuing to struggle with? APR score. So not only if I send my kid to FAMU, are we going to have an issue with him getting to the NFL because you won't do what you're supposed to do? He's probably not going to graduate. FAMU has a score of 898. The average is 962. 930 is to keep you out of sanctions. Now, there won't be any sanctions through 2024. Okay, that's good to know. That's a big thing. APR basically gets reinstated in 2024. Most of the FAMU's athletic programs satisfy the requirement. Football and men's track are the only two that don't. We got a lot of issues. And I want you to realize this. You know what NFL scouts look at too? That. You know what I'm looking at? Our likes and our subscribers. Right now, we're at 1953. If you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Please tell somebody else to subscribe. We're also at 21 likes with 30 people watching. If you don't mind, just tap that like button. It helps us in the future with other people being able to see this. Appreciate everybody being joined in, though. So we'll go backwards, Miles, to something a little bit more lighthearted. We'll click. Did y'all know Jackson Mahomes wasn't a part of the community? Because I didn't. I could have swore he was a consonant. Jackson Mahomes allegedly has a sexual assault violation. He was at a club or a bar and got into some. Real quick, I don't know if I sent you this, Miles, but can you go look Brittany Griner from the Met Gala up? Because if you would have told me this was Brittany Griner, I would have 100% believed you. But Jackson Mahomes went up. He's 21 years old, I believe. Went up to a 40-year-old woman, Caucasian woman, from the back, grabbed her by the neck, and stuck his tongue down her throat. It's very aggressive. Very, like, it was actually, it's one of those situations where if it was his old lady, she would have loved it. But it wasn't. And apparently she didn't like it. And apparently she's they're pressing charges. He was arrested. I would try to rough myself up a little bit if I knew I was going to face charges. Probably grow a beard. Looks very sassy. But I was shocked because I seriously thought Jackson Mahomes liked men. And part of me was like, damn, this is kind of dope. But then I was just like, no woman should be assaulted, even if it's a gay male. It's disrespectful. Can you not tell me that a little bit? I mean, that's the same person. I'm with you, Zach. It's no way. All the signs are there that he's going to have a great time in prison. It's like, and then also, I think my cousin who is gay got a little offended. She's a lesbian. Got a little offended when I said that Brittany Griner looks like one of them boys who play for the Golden Skin Warriors. Shout out, by the way, nobody had LeBron slander when he won. But whatever. The disrespect continues. The biggest disrespect was this, though, and what they did for Trevor Lawrence. Now, if you want to say, I want to see Trevor Lawrence do it 2 years with you. But, Miles, if you can click on that, the disrespecting Sunshine, like, the Jags have expectations this year for a reason. But listen to what these people who get paid to analyze the NFL said about the top quarterbacks in the American Football Conference.
And it's obvious it's not scripture. These not on stone tablets. It's just me in my basement messing around. Which quarterback do you think I misranked? Who wants to go first?
Oh, we're gonna do whiteboards, do we?
Oh, look, we
get the magic.
We just say it.
I think the first one is what? Misranked?
Who is misranked here? Who are you like? What are you doing with this one?
Misranked.
What was very visually jarring for me was not only seeing Jimmy Garoppolo on his own, but having Tua Tagovailoa be below him, and that I was not prepared to have such a visceral reaction that I did to Tua being considered less than Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think Tua Tagovailoa is straight up misranked on this list. So Tua.
Yeah, I would agree
Can you
with you.
push pause
I'm
real
going to
quick?
say Tua, but I'm also going to add in.
I want to, for the record, state when we get our streaming services stuff, one of the first hires I'm going to make is going to be a female. I don't agree with everything she says, but she has really good points when it comes to sports. But this blonde literally just said Tua Tagovailoa, who we saw throwing up O block, is ranked too low. All right, go ahead, push pause, Miles. Let me push play.
Trevor Lawrence. He really took off towards the back end of last season. And both of these two guys, Tua and Trevor Lawrence, led the team to the playoffs. So I think that alone, I would bump them up a tier and I would have their beautiful smiles right next to Jimmy Garoppolo. So Tua, Trevor Lawrence, I'm bumping them up one.
Yeah, I'm going to say Jimmy was misranked. He should be higher. And right now, the people in the airports watching without any sound have no idea what's going on. So there you go. That's for them. Now they know what's happening.
There we go.
As well. But I would put Jimmy, I would jump.
And 4?
I think he's, because the sour taste in my mouth from the season last year that Russell Wilson had, I just don't think that Jimmy should be below him.
Now he's talking sense.
That he's by himself, right? It's
Russell Wilson, Sierra's husband, was ass.
They're going to draft a quarterback high. Look at all the work they did in the quarterback. They wound up not doing it. I think they still believe
you got
Jimmy could be
Sierra's husband,
a relative long haul.
This is why this is tricky. Jimmy's won some,
and the freak ass nut bull at 4.
The most popular response on Twitter about how could you have Trevor Lawrence there? I love him, like the most of us do. I feel like last year was really his true rookie year because the year before they had Urban Meyer head coach. It was a disaster. Wins the playoff game despite playing terribly in the first half, then makes the comeback. So it's complicated. I got a lot of heat on Lawrence. Question number 2. Of all these guys coming into this season, look forward to 2023 season, who is most likely to jump up a tier, to go in the elevator, get in, maybe go from 6 to 5. Guys, maybe go from 5 to 2, whatever you want. Mike, what do you think?
Here's Trevor with an arrow to show you which direction he's going to go because
there's the only guy that makes sense. You can push pause.
Season,
you can stop
year
Miles.
2 for
but
him is where quarterbacks really jump up.
We saw with the freak ass nut bull, my man Zach. Remember, he played last year and not well. And I like Deshaun Watson. But Trevor Lawrence literally played the back half of an NFL season and led a team to a playoff win. For him to be ranked that low is disrespectful. And yes, he didn't lose the Jaguars game to KC. A fumble in the goddamn red zone lost them the game. Bad defense and not being able to stop one person, the goddamn tight end, lost them that game. He played terrible against the Chargers for a half, but then played beautiful for another half. It's just a disrespectful rank in a league that's what have you done for me lately? And the Jags have expectations, rightfully so, because Sunshine and everybody else is coming back. Add Calvin Ridley. Come on, man. I'd gamble on that. Speaking of that, expectations. And are they too high or too not? I know Florida State has expectations. Rightfully so. Every day on Twitter, there's arguments. You guys finally did something. You think you're something this. You guys didn't have anybody drafted. Well, it's tough to have people get drafted when everybody comes back. But I'll tell you why Florida State has expectations. Might as well click on that first link for Pro Football College. Pro Football Focus College. Is expectations false? Who would be the best returning quarterback per Pro Football Focus? Wait a minute. I know that guy. It's my son's favorite football player, Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis is ahead of the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. He's ahead of the predicted number 1 overall pick in Drake May. He's ahead of Florida State, beat 2 quarterbacks on that list. That's crazy. It's interesting. So the quarterback ranked high. If you can click on that one, I think 2 below it. Not the first one, but the next one. It's just the quarterback one. And If you could, running back, another important position. If you look down at number 7, it's a guy by the name of Trey Benson. That's crazy. It's pretty damn good running back. There's a graphic for Johnny Wilson. I can't find it. But click on the Dustin Lewis one. That might be. Shout out to Noah Gaming Day. Nah, that's just talking about Jamie Robinson. We'll keep that up there. But Johnny Wilson is also a top 10 wide receiver per Pro Football Focus. So on offense, each level, you're bringing somebody in who's one of the best in the nation per what they did last year. Now, games got to get played, but I think they're going to be fun. Jamie Robinson, if you were under a rock, signed a 4-year deal worth $4.1 million and a signing bonus of $336,000 and $336,388. That's how you got to read it. Damn, it's tough. Boy got rich. It's a lot of money. Congrats, Jamie. He's our only draft pick. We had some other guys make camp rosters, but we'll see what happens with that. Has a lot to be excited about. Florida Sports Buzz is hyping up their program in the proper way. Go ahead, push that link right on that, Miles. Barry Jackson. fans need to be realistic about this season. It's going to take more time. That's the opposite of we back. Hey, man, we finally got Miami beat talking some sense. It's going to take a little bit more time. That's why we continue to say, keep Mario forever. Mario is doing the Lord's work. Then what's Florida? What about Florida? Florida says, their fan base says, we don't need the transfer portal. We don't need anything. Blah, blah, blah. And what did they just do? Big no. Just puts on, if you click on the quote tweet, the tweet he quoted, Miles. They just picked up a safety, not that one. Yeah, that. They picked up a safety from the University of Michigan. They found one good highlight. We found numerous highlights of him getting burnt. Also, going back to the University of Miami, they just picked up a transfer portal safety from Oklahoma who we gave the business in the bowl game. He's going to fit right in with everything that UM's trying to do. But going back to UF, one of the best ways to make everybody happy with you is to piss off your administration. Billy Napier went on wax saying, when he was on the speaking tour, right around the corner from where I'm at, between academics and a myriad of other factors, he said the process to identify a viable transfer target is slow moving, and he doesn't anticipate changes being made. Academics is important. The admission process is important. The character process is important. Call a high school, there's an injury history. Sometimes there's things you're unaware of. You've got to flip over every rock in a short amount of time. Sometimes our process doesn't fit the timeline, and we lose out on the situation. So it is what it is. We're not going to speed through the process. We're going to be as detailed as you can be. And there were other things that he said, but he basically threw the admin and the process under the bus for why UF has missed on so many transfer portal guys. Part of it is this antiquated concept that kids need to make fucking highlight films and send them to you. There's an all 22 for college. Everybody has access to everybody's film. I don't even understand that. It's silly. But again, UF fans, happy? I love it. You like it? I love it. Because I know moving forward, I have expectations to be in the college football playoff year in and year out. Not because Florida State is going to be great, because right now they're expanding the college football playoff. If you can click on that, Miles, like the college football playoff is going to a 12-team formula or format where I know if we're in the top 2 in the ACC, we're probably more than likely going to go to the college football playoff. It would start with this. The first round games will be, I'm assuming it'll be four games, so 8 teams, and then they meet another 4 teams. So I know for a fact we'll be in the first round. Game 1, we played December 20th, Friday, and then Saturday, December 21st, there'll be 3 games played. All at a campus stadium. Then the quarterfinals will be played where they traditionally will have the different things. So you'll have, what's that? The Fiesta Bowl, the Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl. Then the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl are your semifinal games. Then the Peach Bowl gets the national championship again. And Zach, you bring up a good point. A lot of people hate the expanded playoff, which I don't know why. I know this. December 20th, I'll be locked in. December 21st, you're not going to get me to move off my couch. December 31st, hopefully we're not playing in that game because I don't want to go out to Tempe. But I would like to play in the Peach Bowl, and I'll be spending New Year's Eve in Atlanta. Actually, really don't want to do that. Atlanta's a terrifying place. Shout out to my dog, Ro. Hopefully, I don't run into Ro. But I'll be watching football all day on New Year's Day. Semifinal. It's 1, 2, 3. I don't watch all bowl games, but I think you'll see more people care about bowl games because these are going around. Because people like football. One of the things that we love is more football. Now, what I don't like is how the season gets pushed back so much later. But it is what it is. MFTK. And I don't have to go through it. So fuck them kids. Let them go out there and entertain us. Speaking of fuck them kids, this is a phenomenal story. I watched this fight. This makes me like this champion even more. Because if you won't father your children, somebody else will. I discipline my sons so that the world doesn't have to. It means, and there still might be times when I fall short. But I saw something from King Richard where the police came in and they said that he was too hard on the kids. And he said, yeah, I'm hard on my kids, but you'll never have to come in here worried about them killing somebody or doing some other things, blah, blah, blah. Well, Miles, if you play this video, you'll see a great opportunity was missed to discipline a kid. And then years later, a great male figure corrected the wrong.
I was just like, where is he? I'm going to find him. I was like, I see his kid. Then his sister, I think, was holding them, shielding them because they were crying. So I was just like, bang. He's only a kid. I'm like, and the fuck what? If I had a son and he came to the cage after 287 and then started to do that next period, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Hey, come here. I apologize. I apologize to that man. Guy knocked me out in his home country, and then you see your kid doing that. You don't have the discipline to scold them. And then again, before the 281, you're in your car being like, oh, look what my son did.
Luta contra o Adesanya em São Paulo, quando eu nocauteei ele.
Eu tinha subido no ringue.
If you're not gonna teach your kids manners and respect, I will. So I did him a favor. I did that kid a favor. Now he has a life lesson that he can hold on to forever and just remember that. I'm glad I did it. Fuck them kids. I was just like,
I'm with it.
I'm gonna find him. I was like,
I'm with it.
I see his.
Like, they were bragging. And to the victor goes the spoils. But I don't want to hear the fucking crying when your daddy gets his ass knocked out and you do the same thing to the kid. And then as a father, you basically encouraged this shit not too long ago, a few months ago. So when he knocked your ass out, he made sure that your son saw it. Man, I wish I had that Dame Dash audio. In front of your kids, on God, one of my biggest fears is getting knocked out in front of my kids. But like Kevin Hart talked about it in one of his comedy specials, talking about he stopped respecting his dad when he saw his dad get knocked out. Told him, take out the trash. You take out the trash. I'm going to go call the neighbor and knock your ass out again. But but seriously, fuck them kids. And this is why. But a lot of times kids are fucked up because parents are pieces of shit. And they're teaching people to do the wrong thing. And lastly, while we're here on the road, there's a lot of things that's been going on. And it's my commitment to the world to show women that y'all are just as much ain't shit as men. And I think one day we're going to all the adults are going to be able to have a good conversation. And we're going to talk about how I ain't shit and you ain't shit. And then the healing will begin. And then we'll stop these fucking think pieces. So click on this first thing. There's a couple, my Miles is doing that. I'm going to remind everybody that, oh, no, y'all doing good. Never mind. We got 32 likes. I'm with it. So I am an ally. I want people to realize that. I'm an ally. Nobody loves lesbians more than me. I don't understand Transformers, but if that's what you want to do your thing. Just don't do it to me. I don't understand. I have a couple gay cousins. I don't understand them, but that's their thing. But here's what I don't like is the brat got pregnant. Don't care who you get your nut from, because I want people to realize that it's only one way to have a baby. You need some eggs and you need some nut. I know the brat didn't do it the old-fashioned way, but she got inseminated. And the rapper the brat says her and her wife chose a white sperm donor because all the black sperm donors look like Jimmy the Cricket. And that's a black exploit, like he's ugly. I'm not even gonna hold you. But I'll say this. The brat has access to get nut from anybody. They'll do it the old-fashioned way. I don't give a damn how butch is. The brat thick, man. Like, if you go look at the brat when she was the brat. The brat was fine, man. But if a man came out and said, I can't have no fake, because again, this is the power of women. You're rich, go have your own baby. Become your own single mother. The brat's not this, but a lady who made national headlines, Ebony Williams, she's having a baby on her own. She makes enough money. She can go get her own nut. But if I wanted as a man to go have my own kid and be a single father, and I went up to an egg plant. I don't know what you call it. What they call it? Can somebody tell me what they call it? I know sperm bank. Is it an eggplant? I don't know. Whatever. If I go up and I say, man, all these bitches is ugly, so I had to go get somebody else. Do you know how many think pieces would be written? Like, we talked about it. It's standards and preferences when women do it. It's bias and misogynist when men do it. And I don't think that's fair. Well, anyways, but that's enough of that. I really don't care. It's just more so why you got to bash the men like that. But go on to the next thing. Click on the next one. Because you're going to see this is a lot of ain't shit stuff from women. And I would tell y'all, I just recording it from my phone, so it's all on my phone. So I have to wait for Miles to click on the link. Ah, yeah. Now, I agree with the woman on this, but I also know how the man got put in this position. Simp got put in a bad spot. Michael Sterling is now have to pay child support for kids that he ain't even made because he decided to marry Eva from Real Households of Atlanta. He adopted the daughter from a past relationship, has raised her as his own, and now he has to pay child support for 3 kids, and he has to pay spousal support. A lot of men are saying this isn't fair. A lot of red pill men, which I don't like red pill men, are saying this is why you don't date or marry single mothers. And I don't agree with that. But what I will say is where it's fucked up is I know this man was trying to do the right thing by his stepdaughter. And where he fucked up was not understanding that he married a hoe. And you got to look at the end game play. Hoes are fun. Nobody's going to tell you the truth about like this. But you got to understand, you don't have to embrace every aspect of the hoedom. Like, I'll be damned. I'll treat your child like my own. They'll get everything. Like, if we're that serious, they're going to get everything my kids get. But I'll be damned if I'm going to be paying child support when you decide to go back to your hoish ways. Big Sean, who's a very underrated rapper, had a great quote. When you get a fine bitch, you better read the fine print. He didn't read the fine print. Thus, he's being punished. Have no problem with it. I have a problem with the fact that he let good pussy make him make otherwise unsound business decisions. And that's really what it comes down to. He made an unsound business decision, and I don't have sympathy for simps. And that, I'm telling you, it's going to be a whole generation of men that are going to be having issues because the woman's always right to you. Nobody's 100% right. There's not a woman on this planet. I shouldn't say that. I really love my mother, but I don't agree with everything my mother says. So I'll leave it at that. And then lastly, proof that women ain't shit just like the rest of us is there's every week there's a think piece. Protect black women. Protect black women. Nobody has less protection than black women. And what I always say is, shit, have you seen black women attack black women? Sure. Protect black women from black women. And nobody is more critical on appearance than black women. Simone Biles, uber rich, uber successful, gonna always be able to make money off her name. Bought a $120 wedding dress. Very practical. I think wedding dresses are one of the worst investments you can make. When's the last time anybody's, actually men too, when's the last time y'all wore your wedding suit or your tux outside of your wedding? Women, when's the last time you wore your wedding dress outside of the wedding? It's literally going to be crumpled up on the side of the bed 30 minutes after your nuptials if you've done it right. But that's not what they really picked on her about. This girl wears her hair natural. She does this thing. Again, I want to, not you specific black woman, as a generalization. You know, the thing that you guys like to do all the time, use these generalizations. We're generalizing. A lot of black women don't work out. Her whole purpose in life is working out. So to put a lot of stuff in her hair makes no sense. So people basically crushed her. They picked on how she looked and went in on her viciously. To the point of, if a man did this, see, this is why we don't like black men. But you, as a generalization, tore down a beautiful, young black woman. Successful. Because you think her hair is nappy. When I can tell you, as a heterosexual black male, I don't see nothing wrong with her. And I promise you, 90% of, like, if you got a husband or a boyfriend, women, and Simone Biles walked in the room and said, I like you and I want you. Now come on here. You know what he gonna do with that nappy-headed hoe? He gonna leave your ass. I don't mean to say this to you in a disrespectful manner. I'm just saying she is prettier than most women on this planet. Nappy head and all. But I do think, as a whole, we need to treat each other better. Just because she's an elite athlete doesn't mean she needs to be shitted upon. But protect black women from black women. Hell, a lot of black women got mad because a lot of black men don't support domestic abusers and Brittany Griner. Like, y'all got mad at us. Like, y'all don't remember her beating the shit out of her wife. Like, but if it were me, y'all would never forget that. And that's really what it comes down to. You got to stop having standards and expectations of your own and then get mad when others have standards and expectations. Because those of us who have means will always do whatever to protect our means. And that's about it. A lot of other news stories we're going to get into. We'll be here tomorrow. Depending upon if we win or not, we are at 19. Come on. Slow ass hotel Wi-Fi. We're at 1953 still, 47 away from 2000. Hopefully we'll make that by tomorrow and we'll be able to do $200 giveaway. Other than that, appreciate y'all chopping it up with me. I'm going to go take a nap. Y'all have a great day.